Welcome to the EaglePod, the podcast where we uncover the inspiring stories of Albanians who've conquered challenges and have soared to new heights. In this episode, we explore Adem Dalipi's journey to American Idol. His path began with a deep passion for music, which led him to showcase his soulful voice and guitar skills during auditions, earning him recognition on the platform. As he navigates the music industry, Adem balances the challenges of building a career while staying true to his unique blend of blues, rock, and pop influences. His Albanian culture profoundly shapes his identity and artistic voice, adding depth and authenticity to his music. Alongside his musical pursuits, Adem also excelled academically, completing a Bachelor of Science in Electrical and Electronics Engineering, demonstrating his versatility and discipline in both creative and technical fields. So let's dive into this episode and discover how Adem is making waves both in the music industry and beyond. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your Albanian background?
Yeah, so both my parents are from Macedonia. We live in Petrov downtown, and I was born here. So born in Rockford, which is in Illinois, and grew up there and currently live there now. But yeah, this started off really doing music through high school, but that really sparked an interest in doing electrical engineering. I've always excelled in math and science throughout high school and did a dual credit program through high school. So ended up at Northern Illinois University, knocked out my BS in electrical engineering, and currently working for an aerospace company and doing the electrical systems for that. So it's a really cool gig, something new that I just started this summer and it's been going fantastic. But it's really cool to kind of tie both music and electronics into the same category, and I still like to do music outside of work and try and keep that going.
Nice. Okay, so growing up in the Albanian diaspora, how did you maintain a connection to your roots? Can you speak Albanian first of all?
I understand Albanian more than I could speak it, but yeah, I'm not too confident with my speaking. But I still maintain a connection. Out here in Illinois, there's actually like a Shotka Ustana group that I would participate in with my brother. And we got to meet a lot of the Albanians around there. We have a really tight-knit group within the Chicagoland area, which is awesome. And we would do a lot of camps. I would go back home over the summer a lot of the times, but once I started picking up music, the amount of times I would go back home would kind of cut back because your summers really get booked up with shows and events that you're doing.
Okay.
Really like to get involved with our community.
Mhm.
So in Chicago, they tend to do um, like I forget what that event is for. We drive around the city during the
Like a parade sort of thing?
yeah, like a parade. Yeah, I
Okay.
forget what it's called now, but yeah, we celebrate a lot of the key historic moments for Albania,
Mhm.
like celebrating wow, the liberation, I'm pretty sure, of Kosovo too. They do the flag raises
Oh,
and all
yeah.
that stuff. So really get involved with that. And then we also do a lot of fundraising out here for sending money for our community back in Macedonia as well, because there's a lot of Albanians within the Chicagoland area that are from Petrov and around that area. So we tend to do like 5K runs to help raise funds for, back to school in Macedonia for the Albanian community out there and making sure that we can support everyone that's uh, going through difficult times back in overseas. So
You mentioned music. I saw that you were in the American Idol a couple years ago. How was that whole experience for you? And like, can you just like walk us through what made you decide to, be a part of that?
yeah, that was a pretty unique experience. I was 15 at the time, and then I was posting a lot of my content on Instagram and really trying to pursue music as like a business aspect kind of thing. And it was something I really loved to do. So why not try and do shows and all that stuff? So I would post a lot of content, and I was reached out by a casting producer. At first, I was like, this can't be real, like looking at my phone, I'm like, man, this might just be like a fake account, but hopped on a call with the casting producer and she was telling me that she thought I was a really good candidate and that she would like to have me go through the audition process. So um, there's a lot of pre-auditions before you meet the celebrity judges. And so I went to Cleveland, Ohio, um, where else? Atlanta, Georgia, and driving all of this with my parents. They were extremely supportive throughout this whole process, which was awesome. And after Atlanta, they were like, "All right, we want you to come to Louisville and do this audition with Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan." I was like, "Oh, crap,
Oh my
like
God.
this is cool." So yeah, it was a lot of just working on my singing and my performing and all of that stuff while doing school, and uh, ended up getting like a team, like a vocal coach, and like someone who was helping me kind of make my performance a bit more proactive and more engaging. So ended up doing that, and I got the golden ticket in Louisville, which was awesome.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, it was a really cool experience. So got to go to Hollywood Week, and seeing like the celebrity judges in person is just something different. They have all the lighting on them and all that stuff, and you're just like, are these people real or are they holograms? That's what I was
Were
thinking
you
at the
like
time.
starstruck?
Yeah, I have a big blues background when it comes to music, blues R&B kind of stuff. So seeing Lionel Richie was like really cool, and he was pulling for me. I remember after I finished the Louisville audition, he was like, "Man, I could see this kid becoming a star," and then that was like something really cool to take away and have as a memory for sure. So, yeah, I got two yeses. Katy Perry gave me the no,
Oh
but
no, Katie.
yeah, she's not rooting for me right now. But no, she was saying that, a lot of musicians at a young age get declined for a lot of things, and it was really early into me pursuing music, so totally understood that. But yeah, made it to Hollywood Week, and within the first audition, I was cut from that, and that was it. So it was a really cool experience, really pushed me out there, and I got to meet a lot of awesome artists and do a lot of cool stuff with that. The music industry is a very unique um, industry. It's a lot of grinding and a lot of like content creation, and it's really changed over, the past 20 years, I would say. Um, because you look at artists like some of my favorites are like John Mayer and a lot of the newer artists where at that time when they were starting their career in the early 2000s, it was a lot more of live shows and the internet was just becoming a thing, right? So they were using forums and it was a lot easier to get labels' attention. While now it's really adapted to the social media content creation grind, and
Yeah.
labels are looking for already established artists. So it's definitely become like a more than a full-time career. You're putting in overtime some weeks, and it's definitely a lot more of a grind, I would say, rather than how it used to be. So that's what kind of leads to some burnout for some artists because as musicians, we really look for a connection with an audience, at least for me. Like some of my favorite moments during music was playing the shows and seeing people enjoying their time with a little bit of music in the background at, different festivals or different events that I was playing. And when COVID hit, that kind of stuff just whittled away, and now you're doing these live streams for like 2 or 3 hours a day trying to engage that way. But there's a lot of hardships that come with music, but it really does become a full-time career, and you just really need to develop a team that backs you and helps support you during that. That's,
How long was that whole process?
wow. I think it was end of summer, probably because we started messaging back in July of that year. and then it went up until December of the end of the year. So probably like 5 or 6 month period.
Okay.
Yeah.
And through that
Yeah.
time, were you like practicing still and
Yeah, I was juggling all sorts
were
of
you
things. I
just
was
so
taking
I
taking
would
an
have been
AP
so
course.
anxious those like 6 months waiting for like,
Yeah, it was definitely a lot to balance. I mean, I was still student, but I would miss like a week of school here and then a week of school there. And the thing with American Idol is like you sign NDAs at the time, so like you can't talk about the process as you're doing it. So my friends are like, "Where are you? Like you're never in classes," and it's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm recording music or you know doing other things, but not American Idol, I swear."
yeah. So how was
But
it when they finally saw it like broadcasted? What did they say?
I was getting a lot of messages, and it was really cool to see the Albanian community kind of back it up too, and everyone was super supportive. I wasn't aired fully, but I was on a like commercial segment,
Oh, okay.
and even through that whole time when I was trying to figure out, because the producers would say like, "Oh, you're going to be aired, but we don't know what week because we're trying to figure out the airtime," and then a lot of the musicians that I knew ended up not getting aired too, and it's just like, you kind of roll
Oh,
with the punches, but if you get your time on the screen, like I was in a couple commercials, which was really cool to
okay.
see like
That's nice.
my guitar and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So turned out turned out really fun, and
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of opportunities out of that. I was a Yamaha guitar ambassador for a while during COVID, and I actually got to play with Jim Belushi
Oh,
this
that's
past
so cool.
yeah, this summer. We were doing this induction for the House of Blues had a radio uh, show back when blues was really, really popping off, and we got to meet the guy. His name was Ben, and he was the host for the radio show, and all of his archives were added into the Library of Congress's archives, and
Yeah.
it was a really cool experience to meet Jim Belushi, and
Yeah.
you know got to tell him like, man, you're an inspiration for Albanians, and trying to pursue something that is a really tough industry to get into, and seeing someone succeed in that is awesome. So,
What initially, got you interested in music, like going down the music route?
um, geez, that one's a tough one because so it started like my parents, they really try and like make a better life for their kids and all that stuff. I'm sure like a lot of the Albanians kind of go through that when their parents move to the States, and they're just trying to make sure that they get you involved with everything and try and find what you like to do. So they were just throwing me into sports, and I tried baseball, but I was getting hit with the ball too much and all that stuff. So I just never got into sports too much, and it was around the third grade time when, like, in the elementary schools, they would have a music program where you're like learning songs on recorder or whatever.
Yeah.
But I always had an interest and a draw to guitar, and my dad loved listening to rock music. So just hearing guitar all the time, I was like, man, it would be fun to play that. And my music teacher in third grade reached out to my mom on a phone call, telling her that I had a really good ear for music and that I really put a lot of attention into it. So that moved them to kind of sign me up for guitar lessons, and it just started picking up from there. And I really took interest in guitar, would practice for hours on end throughout weeks, and put in like full-time job into guitar in third grade just so I could start doing some solos and learning the song properly. So
What's your favorite song to play?
that's a good one. Geez. I really like to play Stevie Ray Vaughan's Pride and Joy. That one always, like when we play blues shows, that one gets the audience going. Um, I also really like to play. I love listening to Mac Ayres songs. He's just like R&B artist, and
Okay.
his stuff is really fun to kind of jam along with and improvise over.
Nice. Do you do a lot of improvising throughout? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. The blues genre is just like full improvisation. So you
Okay.
would get a band together, and you'll just kind of figure out how to start the song, how to end the song, and after that, you're like, all right, do whatever in the middle. You want a drum solo, I'll throw you a drum solo. Yeah,
Have you
it's
tried
always
adding like a little bit of like Albanian music influence in there? Or no?
it's kind of tough to mix both worlds, right?
Okay.
With pop music. With pop music, it's a lot easier because you kind of see like the Albanian rap
Yeah,
artists
I do.
and all of that stuff. So it's a lot easier to do it with that. But with blues music, you have a really niche fan following, so they don't really like to kind of step out of the step
Mix.
out of the the roots, if you will. So it's really tough to improvise with that. But I do like to kind of dabble with my own music in my free time because I do write. I like to kind of take some influences from all the experiences that I've had, blues and,
Yeah.
of the Albanian culture and try and mix in with different things. I shifted to audio production, and that's where kind of the electrical engineering mixes in because I started teaching myself a lot of electrical or audio production during COVID, and that's where I started recording a lot of my own music and a couple of friends' musics. I recorded someone's project. They had a full album that we set up some microphones in my basement, recorded like live drums, guitar, bass, all that stuff. So audio production has really taken up a new wave within my music ambitions, if you will.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy doing that. And that's kind of where it played an influence with my schooling and what I want to do with my career because you do a lot of electronics and signal processing, and that's where it tied in with my mathematics and my sciences that I was taking at the time.
What do you love most about being an electrical engineer?
I would say just I don't know, having the title, like going through that schooling is a really awesome achievement. I mean, it was really tough at some points with some of the course load that I was taking. There was one semester where I just had the electrical engineering weed out class, which is the advanced circuits where you're working with these transistors and doing all this theoretical
No clue what that
application.
means, by the way.
It was some really advanced stuff, and then I'm taking quantum physics right after like a 15-minute window,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was just it's a really tough process to get through, but um, I'm just very thankful that I was able to get through it, and I'm really enjoying the work that I get to do. Some of the circuit troubleshooting, you take a board and you're like, all right, there's a bunch of electrical stuff on here, and you have to take like the blueprints of it and figure out how you want to troubleshoot that circuit properly without blowing up a component.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
um, doing that at my job is really cool, and being tied with aerospace, like you have to be very thorough with the testing that you're doing because it has to all be documented and saved, and you have to be sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, if
Yeah.
you will. So
Not something you can mess up.
no.
So as both like a student and artist, how did you manage to balance your academic responsibilities with your passion for music? What was like, how'd you go about that? Because that's a lot of
It was
then.
yeah, there long hours, a lot of sleepless nights,
Oh,
but it just comes down to time management.
mhm.
Um, I commuted to school too from my parents' house, so it would just be staying at the library, for long hours. And sometimes you would have to sacrifice, like, if you have a couple big exams coming up, you're going to put a lot more time into studying rather than some of the passions you have outside of school. And that's just what comes with the workload and all of that stuff. So a lot of sleepless nights, but worth it once you get done with the semester and you get your grades that you wanted. So
Yeah, for sure. I remember what it was like to, be an undergrad too, and it was just challenging too because I took way more credits than I should have because I got like A's and so they would let you take even more credits. I was like, I want to graduate a semester early.
Mhm.
Why I wanted to graduate a semester early, I still don't understand, but I really wanted to. And so I was
Uh,
just like burnt myself out. So it's like,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
The burnout is real because I graduated a year early, so um I did all of the math that you'd need to do for engineering in high school because our high school offered like a dual credit program. So I was doing college during geez, 2019 into 2020. And that's also when COVID hit. So at that point, it's just like I'm taking Calc 1 through differential equations and Physics 1 and 2 all online. And it's just,
Oh,
my
so
brain was just burnt
I
out.
agree. I was
Yeah.
taking a bunch of neuroscience classes because I did my major in neuroscience and psych, and it was like my capstone project and everything online. I'm like, I don't know how the heck we're gonna go about this, but we
We're
finally
gonna figure it
managed.
out. Yeah. And it's that
Yeah,
Albanian mentality I like to say too, because it's just like, you talk to your parents about how stressful the courses are, and they're just like, you can do it, like
exactly.
you're gonna push through. We did it in our
Yeah,
time. We used to walk uphill both ways. So
yeah,
so you're just like, all right, you know what? This is the circumstances that were dealt right now, but you just got to roll with the punches. Just make it through and you'll figure it out and it works out in the end. So yeah, the academic process too is just different. I mean, you have Chat GPT, which and like
oh,
AI coming in, which is a completely different field of study, and it's just playing such a big factor into how students approach schooling. And it's like it could be a useful tool if you use it right. If you're just using it to knock out all of your assignments and not as like a study habit and something to benefit you,
mhm.
then you're just ruining your academic
Yeah,
career, if you will.
yeah,
And with engineering, it's like a lot of people say like, oh, you're just doing these really difficult applications and you're never going to use it in your job, but it's more so about like how do you go about problem solving? And I feel like that's a good takeaway for any courses. How are you going to solve this issue? How are you going to manage your time? And that's like really really key things that people look for in your job. So
yeah.
I got really fortunate with mine that I was doing my senior design, which is like your capstone, if you will, for engineering. And ours was related to the job that I have. They sponsored our project, and we made this pressure switch test station that like automated all of the data collection, the testing procedure for these pressure switches that are used on airplanes, and
Oh,
really helped me grow. It's like with that you can't really use Chat GPT. Like maybe
yeah,
for the writing assignments where it's like the teacher wants you to do some filler writing on the side, but when you're designing it and you're looking for components and figuring out how you're going to make this work, there's no support on that end. It's just about how you work as a team and kind of taking your skills that you've developed through your schooling and really applying it.
and now for a fun fact of the day. Today's fun fact, we're remembering Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was born to an Albanian family on August 26, 1910, in what is now North Macedonia. In 1950, Mother Teresa got permission to start her own order called the Missionaries of Charity. As part of their work, her organization opened homes for abandoned children and people with terminal illnesses. On September 4th, 2016, she was officially canonized as Saint Teresa of Calcutta. This recognition by the Catholic Church came nearly 20 years after her death on September 5th, 1997. She's remembered for her selfless dedication to humanitarian causes and her deep compassion for the marginalized. Now back to our guest speaker. So, looking ahead, what are sort of your goals, both in your music career and just life in general? I know you said you just graduated from college, so
Yep.
probably still a
I'm gonna
little.
go right back to school. No, no. So, yeah, academic wise, like I'm really happy with the job that I've landed, and they do like a master's program. So I'm looking into doing a master's with power electronics, which is a subcategory within the electrical field. But I'm taking the year off. I'm gonna figure out my job,
Yeah.
and I really want to take some time to get back into music and do some audio production. I know for me, when I was studying, I would always put on lo-fi music, so I've been really inspired to just come up with some lo-fi beats and kind of try and make some relaxing tunes that you can put on in the background and kind of study too, because it's a really cool genre that I really enjoyed while I was studying. And there's no words, so it would just like really help me kind of focus in and put
Yeah.
the time towards my studying. So,
Yeah, I listen to that too. I don't like the white noise. I gotta have something in the background, so the low.
right? Yeah. Yep. Try and get on the Lo-Fi Girl playlist on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I know
So
exactly what you're
it's
talking about.
yeah. If you don't know, look it up.
What kind of makes you unique as an artist?
Um, I've I've always heard that my guitar playing, a lot of the music nowadays today has kind of moved toward like the digitalization of music, right? So a lot of the musicians that make music now don't really play instruments, and some of them don't even write their own songs, depending on how well established they are in the career. So I've always enjoyed the songwriting process. I like to try and tell stories through my songs that I write. And a lot of the newer songs that I've been writing and storing away during college is like uh, really moving towards that storytelling aspect and just keeping real instruments alive. I think it's such a cool thing that uh, you can take a guitar and pick it up and write a song in 30 minutes if you want to. So rather than trying to get someone to help you make a full-on track and then co-writing's fun, but I think pulling your weight is also really important within music. So I released an album in 2022. It's called After the Party.
Okay,
And
I'm gonna check that out.
yep, I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. Um, and I'll probably be releasing quite a bit more tunes now that I'm out of school. So I'm looking to hopefully get back into it. I made my own little home studio and looking to kind of just get back into it and uh, you know, took some time off because of schooling, but I think it's going to be like a really fresh start
Yeah,
after all that grind during COVID. It kind of made you feel a little burnt out, just posting every day, trying to keep people engaged. And
for sure.
now it's like I have this fresh start of finishing school and approaching it with a new perspective in life.
So, have you finished this most recent album, or are you still working on it?
Um, the new stuff that I'm writing, so this album I released back in 22 is out, but the new stuff that I'm writing is still like I'm trying to just get back into it and like fully
Okay.
produce it myself and write it. So it's still in the works, but um, it's something that I want to take my time with and make sure that it's in capturing, a lot of the new perspectives that I've gained
Yeah.
um, with going through school and all of that stuff.
So the 2022 album, let's kind of talk about that. Like, any inspirations for that album, or what is like kind of the theme of that album?
Yeah, it's called After the Party. So that one is kind of in capturing like um I would like to say it kind of encaptures that feeling like when when your friends are kind of not real friends, if you will. So it kind of encaptures that feeling of, you know, people being somewhat two-faced, just kind of
Fake
using
friends.
that, yeah, the fake friends, if you will. So that was the
Amazing.
kind of vibe I was going for, but it's kind of it jumps around. We have one song that's more of like a in the feels kind of thing where it's talking about that. Uh, the EP is named after one of the tracks, but then I have this one song called Nothing I Wouldn't Do, which is more of like that jazzier kind of vibe and a little bit more upbeat. You got a little trumpet section going on in there with the Chicago feel and kind of just making it a more of a fun going tune, if you will. So I like to not keep the projects to one genre, and that's what I was going for with that EP. Is like, hey, I'm multiverse. I dabble in a lot of different genres. I could be happy, I could be in the feels, so that's what the goal with that project was for.
Awesome. Who has been your biggest supporter throughout all this?
My dad's been really supportive. He likes to say that he's living through my experiences.
Aw.
Um, so he's always enjoyed music, and he likes to say that he's going to learn guitar, but he hasn't really taken an
It'll
attempt
be
to
so
it.
nice if he does, and you two like
A
duo.
jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, but no, he's him and my mom have really always been in my back corner, and um, my whole family has been super supportive, especially through like some of the more daunting times, which is like COVID. They were always making sure like I was able to balance my schooling and the music that I was doing at the time. So, always been there. I mean, I've traveled all over the place with music, and they've always, been in the front seats driving me to and from and all that stuff. So, all the way up to Canada, all the way down to New Orleans, like East Coast, West
Mhm.
Coast. I've been all over the place with music, and they've always been there every step of the way.
Nice. That makes for some great memories, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, some good road trips
Yeah.
and some fun times in California, all that stuff. So,
Great. What is
yeah.
the most favorite place you've been to?
Um, within the States, I would say music wise, New Orleans was really fun. I was out there for a music conference and just networking with people within the industry, which is really important when you're kind of pursuing it as an artist. You want to make sure that you're always meeting new faces, and within any industry, networking is number one. But um, just the scene out there is really cool. We were out there right before a hurricane hit, so like
Oh,
we left a couple days before
you got
the
lucky.
hurricane. Yeah, yeah, we dodged a bullet, but
Yeah.
um, it was still just a unique atmosphere, something that you don't see anywhere within the United States. So
My last question for you is what is the biggest piece of advice you'd give someone?
really stick to your dreams. Find something that you love to do. The work that you're gonna be doing is kind of gonna be the rest of your life, right? So it's a really important decision. And the other thing is like find something that is the perfect work-life balance. Like I'm still able to come home and, pick up the guitar and do some things that I really love to do some shows. So getting that work-life balance, finding that time management, and just really chase your dreams is something, especially for our new generation and younger generation of Albanians as well. Like we're coming to the States to really set that foundation for us to find that passion and find something that you love to do, and that's why my parents came out here is to make sure that me and my brother can, get a really good life going and find something that we love to do and enjoy doing. So, um, very grateful for that. And just go after your dreams, man.
Great. And now on to our last section of the rapid fire round where I'm going to ask you 10 fun questions and you have to rapidly respond. So,
All right.
last song you listened on repeat.
Last song I listened on repeat, Yacht Club. They make this song called Japan.
A favorite place in Europe.
Um, I really enjoyed visiting Switzerland. I went to Zurich for my family that's out there.
That is beautiful. Who inspires you the most?
Um, my dad and his work ethic. Yeah.
A go-to karaoke song.
Um, oh man. Don't Stop Believing. That's the classic, right?
Introvert or extrovert?
Um, a bit of both, depending on the time, right? In the morning, I'm an introvert. Night, it's like extrovert all the way.
A first concert you've ever attended?
John Mayer concert. Um, really, really moving concert for me.
Mountains or beaches?
Mountains all the way. Big hiker.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Um, I really liked Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, two favorites.
A coffee or tea?
Coffee.
A favorite hobby outside of music?
Gaming a little bit, I guess. So I
Okay.
like to game a little bit in my free time.
All right. Okay, well, thank you so much for being on the pod. I've loved having you. I love speaking with you and just listening to all the amazing things you're doing.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here. It's been a really good time, and I think it's awesome that what you're doing to kind of spread the word for the Albanian community and how to support, and I think it's an awesome thing.
Yeah. And so where can our viewers sort of find you if you
You could look me up on Instagram at Adem Dalipi, or if you want to stay listening to some of my music, you can find me on Spotify, Adem Dalipi, and uh, all that stuff. So I think those are the two main platforms I'm pretty pretty active on. So
Okay.